A cordial greeting. Today is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In this video, I will be providing an update on the forecast for a strong tropical wave that will be moving very close to the northeastern Caribbean. Eventually, it will move over the Bahamas where it could become a tropical depression or tropical storm. It is important for interests in the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Bahamas, and the southeastern United States to pay close attention to its evolution, as there is still some uncertainty regarding whether it will take a more easterly path passing near or parallel to the southeastern coast of the United States, or if it will maintain a more westerly path until eventually reaching the Gulf of Mexico waters. Before providing more details on this forecast, I wanted to comment that in the eastern Pacific region, we have different areas of interest that could develop into tropical cyclones. However, it is projected that all of them will maintain a west-northwest trajectory, moving away from the coast of Mexico and Central America. Let's then focus on the area to the east of the Caribbean Sea. Here, we can see in the infrared satellite animation the strong tropical wave located approximately in this area, and accompanied by a very broad circulation. Therefore, the cyclonic development of this system will be quite slow as it continues its trajectory toward the west-northwest. As I mentioned during yesterday's video, once it crosses the 55 degrees west longitude, it will encounter warmer sea surface temperatures that will lead to the formation of showers and thunderstorms that can help initiate a development process. This development is expected to occur between Thursday and Friday, when it is located near the Bahamas and to the north of the Lesser Antilles, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. It is projected that from Wednesday night, Thursday, and early Friday, there will be a significant increase in precipitation. Later, I will show you the accumulated rainfall projections anticipated over the next 72 hours. Although for the moment the tropical wave remains disorganized, the National Hurricane Center has increased the probabilities to 60% that a tropical depression will form near the Bahamas or towards the east and southeast of the United States. This is why it is important for residents from North Carolina to Florida to stay alert to the evolution of this tropical wave. Let's look at the latest projections from the global models, which have not changed much compared to yesterday. Here, we have the tropical wave crossing over the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico during the night hours of tomorrow, Wednesday, and then maintaining a fairly westerly and southerly trajectory. The GFS model insists that it could reach the Gulf of Mexico waters, and it wouldn't be until early next week that a tropical cyclone would develop. In recent runs, the operational model has been quite insistent that development could occur west of the Florida Peninsula. However, this scenario is the least likely since the other models do not show this trajectory. In fact, the GFS model ensemble members that do develop a tropical depression and tropical storm maintain a trajectory just east of the Florida Peninsula, coinciding with the projections of the other models that we will now analyze. For example, here we have the European model projection. In my opinion, the European model has the best assimilation of this system. It shows the strong tropical wave crossing over the northeastern Caribbean between Wednesday and Thursday, bringing rain to Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the Virgin Islands. Eventually, the energy moves over the Bahamas, and it is not until next Sunday that it develops a tropical depression east of Florida. In the long term, it maintains a parallel trajectory to the coast, leaving some indirect effects through North Carolina and South Carolina, and eventually with a trajectory towards the northeast as it strengthens, but in this case over the open waters of the Atlantic. Again, see the big difference between the American model and the European model. Once again, the European model projection with a trajectory over the Bahamas and east of Florida seems to be the most probable scenario, as we can see in the European model ensemble members, all of which have the development of a tropical depression near the northern Bahamas, but maintaining a trajectory near the east coast of the United States. Although the vast majority maintain trajectories over the Atlantic waters, some members do have the circulation center entering between North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. This is a scenario that we cannot rule out, and for this reason, the entire east and southeast United States should continue to monitor the evolution of this tropical wave. The German model also aligns with this projection. Remember that in recent days, it had a much more westerly trajectory, but it has been readjusting more similarly to the European model. In the latest run, it shows a tropical storm moving parallel to the US coast and staying over the Atlantic waters. However, something very interesting is that the UK model has a slightly more westerly trajectory, in this case, passing very close to southern Florida and the western coast of the Florida Peninsula over the weekend. Again, we emphasize that we have considerable uncertainty. Some models have a trajectory over the Bahamas and eventually moving north-northeast, which in my opinion is the most probable scenario, while other models have a more westerly trajectory that could eventually reach the Gulf of Mexico waters, which for the moment, in my opinion, is the least probable scenario. What is important is that the east and southeast coast of the United States continue to monitor the evolution of this tropical wave, and by the end of this week, we will have a much clearer picture of what will happen with this disturbance. Let's talk a bit about the effects anticipated across these sectors. Specifically, regarding the rainfall accumulations for Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and the Northern Lesser Antilles, between 2 to 3 inches of rain are projected between Wednesday and Friday, or the equivalent of 60 to 75 millimeters. The local effects across the northeastern Caribbean will be limited to an increase in rainfall activity, and some localized flooding may be reported over the next 72 hours. Then, as it moves towards the Bahamas, depending on the trajectory it takes, for example, if it takes a trajectory as suggested by the European model over the Bahamas, it could leave significant rainfall accumulations between Friday and Sunday, with some projections between 2 to 4 inches of rain affecting the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. However, if it maintains a more westerly trajectory as shown by the GFS model, the maximum rainfall estimates could fall over the state of Florida, with between 1 to 3 inches of rain. Definitely, there is a lot of uncertainty about how close it will pass to the United States. We just have to continue monitoring its progress and, with a bit of luck, hope it stays to the east of the United States. It is important that if you live in the eastern and southeastern United States, you stay very attentive to the evolution of this tropical wave. That is why I recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to the bottom of the video to the red button that says subscribe, click on it, and then click on the bell so that you receive notifications when I record new videos. Well, I will sign off for now. I will record a new update tomorrow. And perhaps I will have time to talk a bit about the cyclonic activity we anticipate beginning during the second week of August, especially between the Caribbean and Africa. I hope everyone has an excellent night. Until then,